This is a follow-up story on the Chicago mother who was assaulted at the Maxwell's in Chicago. Her 14-year-old son uh, and her was out at the restaurant or whatever. You know, the whole world probably have seen it by now or whatever. But she was arrested, and now they've dropped the charges, and she has gotten lawyers, and they're going to attempt to sue. They're going to attempt to sue Chicago Police Department and the authorities. Now, it's a lot of mixed reviews on this because a lot of people on both sides of the question thinks that she should just take the win with the case being dropped. Now, what they're saying is she should have never been arrested and charged with anything. Now, I'm no advocate for the police, you know what I mean? And I don't really have a dog in a fight. But this is interesting because they dropped the charges and she felt like she should never be arrested. But she left the scene of the crime. She didn't wait around for the police. They had to actually go find her and look at all the evidence and then drop the case. You know what I'm saying? So if the man at the restaurant was laying there deleted and the police comes to a crime scene and there's a victim deceased there, they have to go look for the perpetrator. They have to arrest the perpetrator. They have to do an investigation, all of that, because there is a deceased person with multiple shots. It has to be investigated. And because she didn't stay there until they got there, but she went home and took her son home, and they had to actually come find her, realistically, until they did an investigation, you don't think that she was supposed to be arrested? Until they found out and sorted out the facts. So, I don't knock the hustle, but a lot of times in the black community, you will see when something happens or a black man is deleted or something like that, here comes these ambulance chasing lawyers to try to turn it into a money grab. You know what I mean? Now it's about money. It's not about the fact that they were out at the restaurant late at night and ran into some crazy madness that they participated in. And as wrong as it was for that man to be assaulting her, putting his hands on her, all the things that happened there, she played a part in. And I'm just thinking, you know, a lot of people gonna be like, well, she should sue. She should. Why? Why is she suing them people after they dropped the charges and let her go? Because they still could have prosecuted her. Because after the guy ran out of the store, they pursued him and he was shot in the back. Then they proceeded to leave the scene of the crime. And yet, the prosecutor still dropped the case. So the money grab at this point is very disingenuous. And I want you to see for yourself. This is for fair use commentary. Like, share, and subscribe. See for yourself how they want about it at this point. They're talking about justice.
I also want to acknowledge everyone who has been impacted by this in any way. To everyone who has supported Ms. Hood and her family through this trying time, we thank you. Yesterday, criminal charges of first-degree murder were dismissed against Ms. Hood and her 14-year-old son, rightfully so. Now that she is free, we think it is important that her story is told and that she is heard.
So, you have a super high student loan payment, and you probably think that you have to pay that same price every month.
Hello, everyone. I'm
Carlishia, Carlishia. Last name is Hood, Hood. Thank you for being here. Thank you for the support for me and my family. On June 18th of this year, my life changed. My son's life changed. I've experienced pain in many ways that I would never have thought, never. What happened to me was totally unnecessary. Never in a million years would I have imagined being brutally attacked, beaten, and then arrested. I am thankful that the Cook County State's Attorney dismissed the case.
Okay, I'm gonna stop right there. She said never did she think that she would be assaulted and attacked and arrested. You know, this is a weird mindset because you were arrested because a man was deleted and he was shot several times in the back. Any person would have been arrested until an investigation, until they sorted out the facts of the crime and the incident. Any person, I mean, there's no racism involved or whatever. You left the scene of the crime, you and your son. The police had to come find you. They had to charge you because there was a deceased man shot multiple times in his back. Okay. Clearly, he had that coming for the assault that he did. But at this point, trying to sue the police, it seems so disingenuous when they drop the charges. They alleged, in this lawsuit, they alleged that she should have never even been arrested. How is that logical when you left us? They have to arrest you at this point. You didn't stick around for the police to tell your side of the story. You left. So by the time they find you, they got cameras and all of this type of stuff to do an investigation. Then when they do the investigation, the prosecutor refuses to prosecute you, even though there is still grounds to prosecute you. First of all, your son had the gun, which he's a minor, and he should have never had access to it. You should have been carrying it. That's one. Two, the man was shot in the back after the incident had de-escalated and he was fleeing and you was no longer in danger. That's another reason. And then ultimately, third, you left the scene of the crime and didn't tell your story. So it's almost like being Crump and these ambulance chasers, they make it hard in the judicial system when they disingenuous
I'm
about
also thankful
this.
to have my son with me and by my side, and also his charges being dismissed. I thank my family for supporting me and the people all over the world. The people did not play. And I just thank God everything was revealed. And just everybody who has been praying and rooting for us, I just thank God for them. That did not go unnoticed. You are all not forgotten. And we are praying for all the families affected by this horrible tragedy. I am now in the process of healing and putting my family's life back together. During this trying time, we ask if, we could please have space to rest and recover from this life-altering situation. And that you all continue to keep us in your prayers. In the near future, I will be able to respond to outpouring of support. Again, I just need a little time to heal and to just get my life back with my baby. Thank you all from the bottom of my heart. That's it.
Now, I don't fault the mother for being sad, but these lawyers, you know what I mean? Even though they look like us, they clout chasing. They're clout chasing because justice was done, because they dismissed the charges and they let her and her son go free with no charges. Again, I'm gonna say again, the man was shot multiple times in the back as he was fleeing and was no longer a threat. They left the scene of the crime. The police had to arrest them and charge them until the facts were sorted out and you could determine what is the real facts of the case. And the real facts of the case is she should have been charged with something based on the fact that they shot the man or she had her son do it after he ran away. Then you have her on there telling the son to shoot the girl that was with him or whatever. And it's just very disingenuous. And okay, I don't, like I said, you don't knock the hustle. You know what I mean? But I think she really should just take the win and go on about her business. But now she's in the media because these attorneys, they want to try to get clout for their firm or whatever, and they want to be on TV and on the internet. So here they is saying they're finna sue the police for arresting somebody who just deleted somebody at a restaurant. They got her out there.
Yeah, I know.
Oh my God, they're so good. I'm happy.
Oh, Jesus.
Jesus ain't got nothing to do with it.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Attorney Brandon Brown. That's Brandon, last name Brown, Brown. This morning, we filed a 4-count complaint on behalf of Carlishia Hood. This complaint is being filed against the city of Chicago and the defendant officers who were responsible for her arrest. The complaint contains counts of malicious prosecution, false arrest, and intentional infliction of emotional distress. We do not take what happened.
I don't like this Negro already. I don't like this Negro already. How was it false arrest? You're gonna lose the case. You just want to be out there and try to press Chicago for a settlement. This is real. This is what they call in the legal system abuse of process. They're not saying that the police abused her. They're not saying that the police degraded her or in any type of way. They're saying that the police arrested her and charged her and investigated and immediately dismissed the case. He fake. Now you think about the deceased guy's family. They have a case because even though he was wrong as hell for putting his hands on her, once he tried to run and get away, they chased him and continued to shoot him. That's illegal. In every country, every city in the States, you cannot shoot a person in the back when they're retreating. That's a case in itself. But, it's going to be mixed reviews on this. I think the lady, again, like I said, should take the win. But this is abusive process. And it's going to hurt a lot of people that have real cases that they probably need to sue for unlawful arrest and the things he alleged happened with her. I'm going to let you listen to this guy anyway. He on the clock tip. He know he ain't got no case. He want to get a settlement. He wants some money. His firm probably ain't doing too good.
Happened to Ms. Hood lightly, and we intend to pursue this lawsuit, and there will be additional lawsuits forthcoming. I want to add that Ms. Hood and myself, we recognize that there has been a life lost. And so we are praying for the family of this man who lost his life. I don't want that to be forgotten. We appreciate that lives were affected by this incident, and so we don't want to dilute or diminish that. However, Ms. Hood and her son, we believe were wrong, and we intend to pursue that. Ms. Hood is not going to be answering any direct questions.
He's not gonna let her talk. And in typical lawyer fashion, he's lying. He's lying. I mean, you know, a good lawyer is basically a hell of a good liar. But what he's saying is disingenuous. He knows for a fact that they had to arrest her until they sorted out what happened, till they reviewed the tapes, till they went through the phones, till they did the evidence, and then still, see, this is what, you know, it's a catch-22, because the prosecutor allowed them to get away scot-free with nothing. Now remember what I told you. The man was shot in the back, fleeing and retreating. They left the scene. So the police was not supposed to arrest anybody, do no investigation, just say, oh, here's this deceased person shot out in this restaurant parking lot. Let's go and, you know, get some donuts or whatever. See, black people, you can't have it both ways. You can't say you want justice and equality, and then the minute you see a way to pounce on a situation for a money grab, you turn it to these charlatans and these ambulance chasers. This guy is lying. Clearly he's lying. And it's gonna create a problem. Somehow.
Questions. Myself and Attorney Williams will be answering a limited number of questions. However, once Ms. Hood has time, and keep in mind that Ms. Hood was just released yesterday afternoon, and so she needs time. But once she is able to process and reconnect with her family, she will present herself again, and we will make her available, but not right now. We're asking that you give her space. We understand that there have been a number of people going to her home, attempting to contact her at her home. We also recognize that there have been things going on in the World Wide Web that may not necessarily be genuine or without malice. And so we would ask each and every one of you out there to keep this family in your prayers, protect this family. Protect this family, and I have good reason to believe that they need protection. And with that, we will open it up to any questions. The lawsuit was filed this morning. Where? In the Circuit Court of Cook County.
Legal argument, presumably police.
I'm gonna stop there because it's on the internet. You can go and look at the rest of it or whatever. But on a real, honest level, this is wrong. This is wrong. The prosecution, in this case, now as I say, I'm not an advocate for the system or whatever, but you gotta call a spade a spade. You gotta tell the truth in this instance, because this is gonna affect other unlawful arrests. It's gonna affect how they play it, because the prosecution should have took her all the way to trial and let a jury cut her loose. But they didn't do that. They used their discretion and dismissed all charges. Now, in my viewership, I'm gonna ask y'all a question. Y'all don't see any crime. Now, we already know that the guy that assaulted her, that was clearly assault and criminal behavior. You know what I mean? Whether or not he deserved to actually lose his entire life, that's debatable. when you attack somebody's mother. But we also know that when he fled the restaurant and was retreating, they pursued him and hit him up a couple more times. Then they proceeded to leave in a whole other thing. Honestly and realistically, how can anybody say that she shouldn't have been arrested? You've got to be arrested so they can sort the facts out of the case. So the young man who's deleted family, they sitting there wondering, okay, they're not gonna be charged with nothing. Okay, say he was a rotten guy. He was somebody's parents or whatever he was on tripping that caused him, to lose his life. However that go. He all in memes talking about he went in for hot dogs and came out with wings. You know what I mean? This is not a good look. I think she should just took the win. You know what I mean? But like I say, these ambulance chasers, they're going for clout and it's a money grab. And I think it's gonna have a negative effect on the situation in Cook County, because the people that work with the prosecutor, they looked at the prosecutor like, you call yourself looking out and cutting them with no charges, and they double right back and they trying to sue you, where you should really be fired because you should have charged them with something. You know you should have charged them with something. You should have charged them with leaving the scene of a crime or anything, but you let her completely go. You dismiss the charges, and they turn right back around and it bit him in the ass. And it goes like that old saying, no good deed goes unpunished. Sending to you out of Detroit. Keep your head on the swivel. Tell me what you think in the comments.